Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to another Watch and Talk here at Automotive Anatomy. And let me start off by saying thank you so much for tuning in. I definitely appreciate you guys just tuning in. And I know a lot of you guys watch, a lot of you guys don't comment, no problem. I just appreciate you guys taking the time to share your valuable time with us and tuning into this interview to these interviews or these wash and talks or these walkarounds or anything for the channel. I definitely appreciate you guys' time. I also want to apologize because it got dark on us. It got really dark. As you guys will be able to see that I was kind of like rushing to wash the car. In the last wash and talk, I mentioned that I was feeling like, I was feeling a little lazy and I wasn't washing the car. So the E30 I'm watching here for the very first time in over a month, and I got this such satisfaction just to see those tires and wheels get clean for a little bit. And yeah, the car looks so nice when clean. The car is really beautiful as it is, but when clean, it gives it that extra touch. You guys know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I do apologize because the last 5 minutes or so, or 3 minutes, is going to be very dark, and so I'm not going to be showing all the process as I was drying the car. And then the camera, since I wanted to, bring more light into the actual camera, I was slowing down the motions. It wasn't the greatest scenario, and you probably won't believe it, but after this car, I watched my wife's car off camera. And it took me like 4 different times to dry it just because it was dark. It was late at night, and so it's hard to dry a car, when it's dark or it's cold. And yeah, the next morning it looked fantastic. So I think I did a pretty good job. Speaking of doing a good job, today's topic that I wanted to discuss, I've been listening to a lot of Grant Cardone. He's a real estate individual. He's very opinionated. Listen to a little bit of Gary Vee. I listened to a little bit of Joe Rogan this week and a little bit of Patrick Bet-David. So the point is that I've been really listening to a lot of different podcasts on different, topics and things like that. The one that brought my attention the most right now was the fact that if you ever feel like you're not doing enough, evaluate what you're doing. And if you can't lie to yourself, you can lie to people, whether you're at work, whether you're at, with your friends, whatever you're doing. I'll use me as an example. I would be lying to you guys if I said that I've been doing what's in my power to eat healthy and exercise. That would be a lie. Am I playing, flag football on weekends? Yes. Am I eating the way I'm supposed to? No. And so obviously we can see this because of, let's say, my weight, my physical appearance. But what about the other things in life? Just work ethic, just different things, just relationships, just, mental health or whatever the case may be. It's crazy because we can't see that, but it's there. And whether we want to admit or not, admit to it or not, it's there. And we find ourselves being in a situation where we could fulfill more than we are, but for whatever reason we're not. Now, if you go to work and you come home and you're like, man, I gave it my all and I'm 100% content, and now I'm going to be a dad, I'm going to be a mom, I'm going to be, whatever the next person, next part of your day is, now you're going to give your whole energy to that, and that's good. That's all that matters. There's nothing wrong with that. However, if you feel like there's something more that you should be doing, go and pursue it. Baby steps. If you've been thinking about going back to school, go and enroll yourself in school. Even if the semester already started, maybe you can go for the spring. Starts in January, gets you prepared 2 months from now. I love these watch and talks just because it's not until I meet real people that they tell me like, hey, I really appreciate the watch and talks. It's not, other than that, it's just numbers. It's like, 100,000 people watch this video, cool, and I go about my way. But that's a lot of people. And I recognize that we all have different stories, different backgrounds, different challenges that we're going through. And one of the things that my wife and I were discussing about was, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure very few percentage of you guys will know who this celebrity is. Bad Bunny. He's sings like pop and reggaeton and things like that. Well, he was in SoFi Stadium here in LA for 2 nights, I think, and tickets were, I think, $300 the cheapest. Nah, my wife wanted to go, but she's like, I just don't want to spend that much. I don't really care. I'll listen to some of his songs, but I don't. It just doesn't grab my attention as much. And then when I see the price, I'm like, I definitely don't want to go and buy a ticket for that. Or rather go and spend the money on something else, which we are. We're gonna do a trip, a road trip. And what I was telling her was that it's crazy how people, and not trying to get political, but a lot of people here in California complain about gas, the prices of gas. Gas is so expensive. Gas is so expensive. Yet they go and spend 300, $1,000 on tickets without even blinking an eye. And I'm wondering. I'm like, maybe the priority is not where it needs to be, and that's the reason why you're struggling. Now, again, I'll raise my hand. I'll be the first one. I am not happy to pay $70 filling up my Honda Accord. I get it. I'm not saying that I'm okay with it. But what I'm saying is, why is it that we're okay with spending X amount on something else, but not to support, or close people or friendships? I'll give you an example. If today I say, you know what, I'm gonna start a washing detail business for cars. These are my prices. A lot of people might hit me up and be like, hey man, how much would you do it for the least amount of money? Like, what's the least? Yet we never say that to Nike. We don't have the opportunity to say that to Nike. We don't say that to companies. We never hit up Amazon and say, hey, what is the least you can do? And that's the same thing with celebrities. That was the discussion. I was like, man, how did he sell out? I'm like, that guy sold out with the cheap. Again, this is the cheapest. I think there was some $5,000, I don't know, $10,000 ticket. I'm like, he now knows that is the new threshold. That like he can charge $500, $600 for the cheapest tickets. Moving on, the likelihood of him ever going back to $50 a ticket is very unlikely. Yeah, let's say us, we produce a sweater on Automotive Anatomy for $50, and people don't buy because it might be expensive to them. Now I'm okay with people not purchasing. It's okay. It happens. I'm guilty of that too. There's a lot of people that have provided me a lot of whether it's motivation, enjoyment, whatever you want to call it, and I haven't bought the products, or I don't subscribe to the Patreon. I get it. It's very difficult to spend money on somebody. And so I definitely appreciate the people that have bought a shirt, a sweater. A few people have bought multiple times, and I really appreciate them. But at the same time, I wonder, why is it that for everyday Joe like myself, we're constantly trying to cut prices? Why is it that somebody that is trying to grow a business, we always gotta hit them up with, hey man, like, what is the lowest you'll do it, man? I know we're buddies, hook it up. And it's crazy because I was just thinking about this long quote that came up on one of my social media feeds, and the guy's pretty much saying, like, there'll be people that are like, oh, that's my buddy's restaurant, let's see if he can hook us up. Well, if he's your buddy, like, you shouldn't be asking for a hookup. You should be paying more. You should be tipping good. You should be happy that you're spending your money there. I mean, some of you guys know that I like coffee, and so we'll go to mom and pops. Yeah, I know we have to go to Starbucks. We don't have to, but if we want to go to Starbucks, we'll go to Starbucks. But for the most part, I like to go small businesses. And I just think that, there's small businesses, even if they're doing very well, they're still small businesses. They're still mom and pop. They're still, the owner's still there. It's a small branch, It's not a Starbucks. It's not a McDonald's. It's not one of those big. And there's nothing wrong with that either. They're corporate. They built a great empire. Starbucks was not known for the longest, and so I'm not by any means hating on Starbucks. Good for them. They provided a service, and people are willing to pay for $7 a cup. Hey, no problem. I go and buy stuff from them as well. They've done an amazing job of creating a culture, even though I hardly ever see. I don't even know if there's commercials for Starbucks. I don't think I've ever seen them. Maybe I'm mistaken, but maybe at the beginning, but not anymore. So I'm not definitely not, this rapper that, or singer, whatever you want to call him, that, his tickets were $300. I'm not hating on him. There's footage of him performing for $40 a ticket back in 2016, 17, 18, like obviously they put in the work. But what amazes me is that when close friend of ours start a business or start something, we're quick to either not purchase, not support, or want to get like not a handout, but like a cheaper price. So as you guys can tell, the the light is going away and it gets really bad. So I do apologize for that. And side note, that's the reason why one of my biggest goals, I'm saving my pennies, guys, is to be able to buy a property, either a house or a building, where I can do these watch and talks at night. I would set it up with lights and just watch the car with no rush, and go about that. But anyways. And one of the things that I was having with my wife with the conversation was about the sweaters, and I'm like, look, we do sweaters and shirts just because I love seeing our shirts all over the world. They have gone to some cool places like Germany, Canada. I think we sent one out to Mexico, if I'm not mistaken, and then everything else in the States. And I'm telling you, big shout out to people from the East Coast, like North Carolina, Virginia, Florida. They've been super supportive. It's wild to me, so thank you guys. It's crazy that people that don't know you are more willing to support you than somebody who sees you every day. And that to me, that's just insane. It's crazy. So whenever one of my buddies is trying to start a new business or whatever, I try to purchase. I don't purchase from everybody. I'll be the first one to admit. But right now, for two reasons, I'm not purchasing from everybody, because I have a lot of clothes and I've been trying to get rid of some clothes, so I'm not trying to get even more clothes. And two, because as you guys know, like, I've been hyper focused right now on being able to make the smart moves to move me forward in the future. And what do I mean by that is I put myself in this strict financial diet, if that makes sense, for the next 6 months, and anything that I spend my money on is going to be an investment. It's not going to be just for fun. It's not going to be just, I feel like buying these wheels, or no, it's kind of, I'm on a mission right now. And so that's a conversation I want to have with you guys. Just, if you see somebody who's starting their own business or whatever, even if you share them through social media, even if you go and you put a nice positive review on Yelp, obviously, if you really believe in it, it goes a long way. If you have a buddy who's saying like, I want to start a YouTube channel, don't discourage them. Say, yeah, no worries, man, go ahead. And my middle brother was like that for me for a long time. He was the first one to watch my videos and comment them. Now my mom watches my videos, so shout out to my mom. And so, but for the first maybe 3-6 months, my brother was the one who will always be the first one watching and leaving a comment. And I really like that interview, or the owner is very humble, etc., etc. And obviously now he's not. Now it's like Samuel and Ramon, they're fighting for first comment all the time, and I appreciate them very much. The point is that it goes a long way. It goes a long way when you see somebody who's trying to do something, and don't discourage them, empower them. And maybe you're going through that. Maybe you're like, man, I started something, no one's showing me love, no one's showing me support. Be patient. Be patient, provide service. Look at me. I'm washing a car with 40% visibility. It can get worse. Maybe it can. I don't know. Well, it does. When I change the camera, it gets even darker. But just the reason why I show these wash and talks, the reason why I'm showing you when the car is extremely dark and you can't even see, is because one day we're not going to be washing the car in the dark. One day we're going to have our own shop. One day we're going to have our own space. One day we're going to be able to have all these things. And some of you guys who have been here through this entire time, you're going to remember. You're going to be like, oh yeah, I remember when that dude would wash his cars at night when there was no light. That's why I do it. Because you have to be in love with the process and document the process and understand that not everybody's going to be cheering on for you. And that's okay. That's okay. Appreciate the 10, the 15, the 300, whoever shows up. Appreciate them. Appreciate the support that they have, because those 10, 20 people are going to get you to the next 10, 20 people. And even if they don't get you to the next 10, 20 people, understand that somebody's willing to spend their valuable time to watch you do whatever X, Y, or Z thing that you're doing, or whatever service or whatever shirt you're providing, whatever thing you're doing. They're taking their time and their hard-earned money to show support. Appreciate them. So for that reason, I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. And once again, I do apologize about how dark it is. We'll catch you guys on the next one, and take care, you guys.